What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is the finals of Arkansas States, and as you saw in the last round, we saw Manny take down the Greninja deck with his Vespiquen Vileplume deck. So on the left, we'll have Manny playing his deck, but who is going to be on the right, we'll find out in a second. We'll see who it is. Alright, on the right, we have Kevin Murphy. If you remember, round number 2, Kevin did play against Adam Jones. Adam was playing Mega Manetric, and Kevin was playing his Night March deck, and Kevin did take that victory. And let's see what happens. It's going to be Vespiquen Vileplume versus Night March. Which one do you want to see? I know in top 8 we saw Vespiquen Vileplume versus Night March, and we saw Night March take it. Maybe this time around it'll change. Who knows? We'll find out in a second to see what happens. Alright guys, here it is. Arkansas State's the final, the championship. Whoever wins this is the Arkansas State champion. And on the left we have Manny playing his Vespiquen Vileplume deck. And on the right we have Kevin playing his Night March deck. And let's see what happens. Who's going to win? And let's see who takes home the gold. And on the left we actually have a Louisiana player. And on the right we have a Arkansas player. So can Arkansas take its own state? Let's find out today. But turn 1 we see it, a Battle Compressor discarding a Gloom Oddish, and let's see what the other card is going to be. Now remember, Manny does play Revitalizer, so he can get back these grass Pokemon that he is discarding. But the big question is, can he find the forest of giant plants with these Pokemon to get the turn 1 Vileplume? If he does, that puts Kevin in a really bad spot because he can't use his, can't use his Battle Compressors and everything like that. But Kevin does play 2 Hex Maniacs, so maybe that's enough to take down this Vespiquen Vileplume deck. We see a Skyla turn number 1, and let's see, Skyla is going to get the Forest of Giant Plants. Maybe Manny does have the Revitalizer in his hand, like I said. But let's see what he decides to do, okay? So Forest of Giant Plants come down. We see a double Revitalizer. Is that double Revitalizer? Oh my goodness. So double Revitalizer gets out a Gloom, Vileplume, and a Vespiquen. Oh my goodness. So we see Shaman setting up, okay, and we see a pass from Kevin. A DC, Sycamore discard his hand, but I'm pretty sure there's no Pokemon in the discard pile anymore since he used double Revitalizer, okay. So we see a Beer Revenge just doing 20. Like, it's not even going to knock out this Joltik unless Manny finds a unknown. So let's see what happens. He has a Skyline for the next turn. And, let's see, he has a license as well, so we might see a Beer Ranch for 20, unless he finds an unknown, like I said, to use Feral Letter to discard a card. And let's see, okay, gonna put down the Oddish, okay. Gonna use Shaman to draw 1. A Battle Compressor is not very helpful at all. And we might just see a Beer Ranch for 20. Alright, let's see what he decides to do. Yep, going to use B-Rich for 20. And on to Kevin's turn, let's see what happens. Can he find a Sycamore or not? He does have a Xerosic. He could Xerosic away that DCE. But on to Manny's turn, he's going to draw a card. And, okay, we see a Skyla. So what he can Skyla for is a Sycamore and discard all his Pokemon in his hand. That's not a bad idea at all. But let's see if he does go for the Sycamore. Does he go for something else? Hopefully he goes for a Sycamore. Maybe he could go for an AZ, pick up the Vileplume, but I definitely think he needs to save that AZ for later. So he sees Sycamore going to his hand, and we'll see B-Ridge knocking out this Joltik. Not a Kevin's turn, let's see what he does. Promotes the Pumpkaboo, and he has a Hex Maniac, so he did top deck a Hex Maniac, but does he have the resources in his hand to get what he needs? We see a teammates coming down, gonna search the deck for 2 cards. Looks like he's gonna eyeball the teammates, and let's see what else will he decide to grab. He's thinking about it. Does he grab the AZ or not? Looks like, oh, he's going to grab the Lysander, I think. And what he could do is Lysander this Vileplume and make it where Manny has to find a way to retreat this Vileplume. He does only play the 1 AZ, but he could manually retreat this Vileplume with 2 DCs, which is not good. What Kevin could do is grab a Lysander and a VS Seeker, and then he can Lysander the Vileplume, then VS Seeker for maybe another Lysander, and or a, or Hex Maniac, then VS Seeker for a supporter. There we go. So I see 2 cards. I'm not sure what the other card is. I know for one is the Lysander, but I'm not sure what the other card is. Let's see if we can try to find out. Looks like another Pumpkaboo. So Pumpkaboo coming down and pass on to Manny's turn. Now he does have a Sycamore in his hand. I'm like 99% sure unless he switch cards on us. But yep, there's a Sycamore. He could play Sycamore, discard his hand, draw 7 new cards. And does he discard an AZ? There's a Lysander, Acrobike, some other stuff. And I think Night March might, not Night March, B-Ranch might take a knockout. I'm not sure how many Pokemon are in the discard pile. There's an unknown Feral Letter draw card. Okay. And we'll see a Combi coming down. I'm pretty sure that's a Combi. I doubt he would bench another Oddish. And it looks like we're seeing a B revenge for 50. And I see Kevin having the 50 on his dice right now, which is not a knockout. He does have a DC in his hand. DC going down to Shaman. We'll see Shaman drawing 2. And we see another Vespiquen coming online. We'll see a retreat and a Sky Return for 30, promoting the other Vespiquen. Now into Kevin's turn. Like I said, he could Lysander up that Vileplume and just pass. And that's what he's probably going to go for. So it looks like he's going to go for the deck out game. We see a DC in Manny's hand, but we know Kevin does have a Zerosic, so he could discard the DC, a pass on the Kevin's turn, and a pass. And we might just see a continuous passing for just a little bit. This might take a little while. It looks like Kevin is going to try to go for the deck out game. But we know that Manny does have the DC, but Kevin has a Zerosic, so he could discard the Zerosic off the Vileplume. So we see his Zerosic discarding the DCE. We'll see a pass on a Kevin. Manny did top deck another DCE. We'll see a pass. Looks like he does not want to put down the DC right now. Shaman coming down. A pass. Alright, on a Manny's turn. Things are getting weird right now. It's going to come down to when can Manny find his AZ, and there is an AZ coming in down. Alright. So Manny could promote this. Looks like he can promote a Shaman and maybe Sky Return. A Gloom comes down, and he can't play item cards as of right now. He does not have a Vileplume down. We'll see a Trainer's Mail. Look at the top 4 cards of his deck. Decides not to get anything. Okay. And we might see a Sky Return for 30. But what Kevin could do is play a Hex Maniac, shutting down the Vileplume. But first, we see Ultra Ball discarding a Vileplume and a Oddish. Okay, let's see what this gets out first. But what Kevin could do, like I said, is Hex Maniac. Then use Vespiquen for another Lysander to bring up that Vileplume to get it kind of stuck in the action spot one more time. But we see he is going to get down the Unknown. We might see a Feral Letter. I'm not 100% sure. We see an Ultra Ball discarding an Acrobike and another Ultra Ball. This could get another Unknown or maybe another Shaman if he wants to. Looks like he is going to grab the Unknown. Maybe he'll hold on to the Feral Letters. Maybe he won't use them straight away. I really don't see why he would right now. But let's see what he decides to do. Yep, you use Feral Letter. Okay. Now, he does have a Vespiquen on the bench, so he could just promote the Vespiquen. I mean, the other Vespiquen without the DCE. We'll see a DC to the Active Shaman. And we will see Sky Return for 30, knocking out this Pumpkin. The Vileplume does come online. And we'll see another Shaman drawing 2. 3. I'm not sure how many cards were in his hand. I didn't keep count. I'm sorry. But we'll see Sky Return for 30, knocking out the Pumpkin. He does hit the Vespiquen without the DC. So to Kevin's turn, let's see what he decides to do. He does have a Hex Maniac, and he does have a VS Seeker. So Hex Maniac gonna shut down item cards, or gonna shut down the Vileplume's Irritating Pollen. We see a Battle Compressor. He's gonna discard 3 cards out of his deck. Gonna discard a Lampet, and then maybe a third Lampet. That's not a bad idea. Just trying to get it discarded because they're really just kind of useless to draw into. All right. And like I said, Kevin does have a VS Seeker in his hand, so he could VS Seeker for a Lysander, and maybe VS Seeker for another Hex Maniac as well. But I think what Kevin needs to do is VS Seeker for a Lysander and VS Seeker for a Zerosic. So what Kevin could do is VS Seeker or Lysander, bring it up, and then if Manny decides to get a DCE, he could just, VS Seeker just play Zerosic, discard the DC, and pretty much be in the game right there. That pretty much be game. Because Manny already has 1 DC discarded, maybe even 2, I'm not sure. But they were seeing Acrobike, going to discard the Trainer's Mail, another Acrobike. Kevin needs to be careful, though. If he's going for this deck out game, he needs to make sure he has more cards in his deck left than Manny. But Manny has played multiple Sycamores. I don't think Kevin has played a single one. Another Jolted coming down. And, I mean, Kevin could be trying to go for a knockout this turn to knock out the Vespiquen. That's not a bad play at all, either. But can he find a DC and a Dimension Valley? So we see a Trainer's Mail getting the Puzzle of Time, okay. And let's see what Kevin decides to do. Does he go for the deck out, or does he try to knock out this Vespiquen this turn? And he's going to look through his discard pile. Let's see what's all in there. But like I said, if he does have double VS Seeker, I think the best play is to VS Seeker for the Lysander. And double Puzzle of Time, this could get out to, 2 Acrobikes, okay. Alright, so we see another Acrobike from Kevin. Going to discard a Escape Rope, maybe? And then another one, discarded something else. We'll see another Trainer's Mail. I wonder what he's digging for. He does have the Dimension Valley, so he could play down Dimension Valley. Huh. Let's see what he does. Let's get Dimension Valley. Yep, gonna grab the Dimension Valley. Alright. And man, I'm kind of nervous that Kevin has... Oh man, I'm not sure how many cards are left in Kevin's deck now. Alright, so let's see what happens. What's going to happen? DC to the Shaman. We see a Dimension Valley. We see a VS Seeker for the Lysander, okay. VS Seeker for Zerosic. And there we go. Alright, so there we go. So he grabs those 2 cards. And we'll see a pass on a Manny's turn. And let's see what happens. Hopefully Kevin left him with enough cards in the deck to make sure he does not lose this game. I know there's 2 DCs on the field. There's one in the discard and one on that Vespiquen. So if Kevin does do the Lysander, bring up the Vileplume, and then, Xerosic discard the DCE, he'll pretty much be in the game because, Manny really can't ever retreat this Vileplume. He'll just be stuck there, and then Manny will just get decked out. So I'm pretty much, that's going to be the game. And let's see what Manny decides to do. There's an Ultra Ball. He is under Hex Maniac right now, so he can play Ultra Ball. Don't be confused. That's why that's happening. And let's see what Manny decides to do. It looks like he's grab another Vespiquen. Okay. And we see a Combi, Vespiquen, Force of Giant Planets. Combi, Force of Giant Planets, then Vespiquen. There we go. And let's see. We might just see a B Revenge for the knockout. Battle Compressor, going to discard some cards out of his deck. But, I mean, it's not looking good for Manny. If the plan goes the way I think it is, it's pretty much going to be a game. We see a Battle Compressor discarding a Vileplume. Unless Manny has some kind of secret up his sleeve all of a sudden that we don't know about, Kevin's going to see how many cards are left in his deck. And we'll see a retreat and a B Ridge for the knockout. I'm like 99% sure this is a knockout. There's a bunch of Pokemon in there by now. Yep, a knockout. Not a Kevin's turn. Going to promote that Shaman. And then he's going to Lysander up that Vileplume. And that's pretty much going to be game. And we're going to see a pass constantly over and over again. Kevin's going to set up, for some reason, going to put down a Pumpkaboo. We'll see a retreat into the Pumpkaboo and just a pass. Maybe Kevin doesn't know how many AZs Manny plays, so that's why he's being careful. We'll see a pass, and this will eventually make Manny deck out. We know how many AZs Manny plays. We know it's just the one, and we'll see Manny can see the game saying, hey, there's no way I can win. Even if I try to put DCs on this Vileplume, I know you have the Xerosic, so I can discard the DC, and Vileplume has a 3 retreat cost, so there's no way it's going to be stuck. I mean, it's going to be stuck in the X spot for the rest of the game. So let's see what happens on the game number 2. Like I said, Night March can take this deck down. Any deck can take down Vespiquen Vileplume if you play Xerosic and Lysanders, because you can Xerosic, discard the Flustone, Lysander, bring it up, and get stuck in the Axe spot, and deck out the Vespiquen Vileplume player. But it is kind of hard to pull off that combo, but we saw Kevin have both of those cards in his hand. Like, he just got really lucky, had both those cards, and that sometimes does happen. But we'll see what happens on the game number 2. Who's going to win, and who's going to take home the victory for Arkansas State and get that 100 championship points and the round 1 bye at Nationals, which is probably the most important thing. The round 1 bye. It's pretty cool at Nationals to get to sit around, see what everybody else is playing, while you sit around and goof off with the people who have their buys. But here we go, on this Arkansas State Finals. Let's see, what does Manny have? Was he a Trainer's Mail? Look at the top 4 cards of his deck. What does he grab? Looks like he's going to opt to get nothing. I think I saw a Trainer's Mail, but I'm not sure if I saw anything else or not. Alrighty, and we see a DCE, and we see, is that a Toxicroak in his hand? There is a Toxicroak in his hand, but we see a pass, going to use Ultra Ball, discarding a Lampent and a VS Seeker. Can Kevin get the turn 1 donk? If that was a Toxicroak in Manny's hand, that would have been a really bad decision. I'm not sure if that was a Toxicroak. I'm not going to say it was. Maybe it wasn't. But we see Kevin using Battle Compressor and discarding a Lampent, and a Sycamore. And can Kevin find a Dimension Valley and a DC to knock out this Ombi or not? That's the big question. The other question is, was that a Toxicroak in his hand or not? We see a DC Shaman drawn up to 6. Can he find it or not? He does have 2 Puzzle of Times. Joltik Shaman draws some more cards. And let's see what happens. He does have 2 Puzzle Times. Going to play both of those. Going to get back a Battle Compressor and an Ultra Ball. Alrighty. We see a Battle Compressor. Going to discard 3 cards out of his deck. There's a Joltik, Lampets, and maybe just a Target Whistle. It doesn't really matter. He's just digging, trying to find this Dimension Valley. Can he get the donk on this Combi or not? That's the big question. We see an Ultra Ball discarding a Hex Maniac and the teammates. Probably grabbing another Shaman EX. Can Kevin find the Dimension Valley or not? Looks like he's going to opt to get nothing. I would at least grab, okay, Lampets. Maybe the 3rd Shaman is prized. He only does play 3. And not a Lampet, a Pumpkaboo, sorry. Okay. At least in his deck out some. We'll see a VS Seeker for the Sycamore. Going to play it. Can he find the Dimension Valley or not? And there's the Dimension Valley, and we'll see a Night March taking the game. And there we go. Kevin Murphy becomes your Arkansas State champion. Did he have 2 DCs in License Enterprise? I think that's what he was just showing us, maybe, in his prize cards. But there we go. Kevin takes home the win for Arkansas. And there we go. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching this Arkansas State Championship. Next week, we will have Alabama States, and let's see what happens. Hopefully we do not have another Night March win. If you don't know, this is actually the same list that won last weekend. And this Night March deck has won 3 weekends straight. Or this list has won 3 weekends straight. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you next week for Alabama. Have a great day. Alrighty. Bye.